Are you thinking about buying an Airbnb or an investment property? I'm actually here in Michigan today to tell you what I learned during my first year of owning an Airbnb. Stay tuned. First, you need to determine if you should pull the trigger. And what I did is I went on to Airbnb and VRBO and estimated what the price I could get in this neighborhood. I then estimated if I got a minimum of, the summer, what would I yield. I then looked at my expenses, budgeted for long-term expenses, and then found a break-even point. For me, it was actually only renting it for 10 weeks throughout the entire year. If I didn't rent any in the winter, that may be a little challenging, but this area has October and sometime even the winter. So that's the first thing. I then determined, okay, what would my break-even point be? And my goal was just to fund a vacation place for me and my kid. But COVID actually helped. As horrible as it was a real blessing in disguise for those of us that had rental properties. We were booked for weeks at a time and months at a time, so it really turned out. I'm curious what this year will bring once things start to become normal. But first, it's determining if you should pull the trigger, if you have the finances to do it. If you were vacant more than expected, would that be okay? And then deciding to do it. The second thing I did is determine who my consumer is. Just like any marketing, you determine who you're trying to reach and go after them accordingly. If you're trying to reach kids, having toys and play areas and things like that, I wasn't trying to do that. So I outfitted the place with some of the nicest furnishings. I decorated it with nice lighting and things like that and spent quite a bit of money in that to attract a higher end customer. I have 2 king size beds, so I'm trying to attract a couple couples. I do have 2 twin beds, so a couple couples and a couple kids. I don't really want more than 4 adults in my place and targeted it accordingly. So we painted, we freshened up, I brought in my troops, and we made the place look absolutely beautiful. The next thing I did is explore which platform to use. There are tons out there and you can frankly use all of them, but because I was managing the place myself, I only wanted to use one. I chose Airbnb 2 reasons. They have an algorithm. You can put a range of what you want to charge, and depending on the seasonality, depending on the searching, the price will go up or down accordingly. What I didn't want to do is have to mirror that price and put it on other sites, so I just chose the one. And they also pay all my occupancy taxes, so that's easy too. So that's what I chose to do. A lot of people have different philosophies here, but because I was managing it myself, I only wanted one platform. The most important thing I definitely did was hiring someone to clean the property. My cleaning person is more of a property manager. She stocks things up. I buy everything, I send it, she stocks things up. She makes sure shampoo and soap and coffee and everything is filled. Obviously, she cleans beautifully. And she even comes when nobody's here. So she drives by my house quite a bit and she will always look out for it. So finding someone you trust is crucial. The other thing we did is we talked about what the job expectations are, what the house needs to look like when a guest arrives, what the full job description is, and down to like how many coffee pots we put out and how many towels we put out. Believe it or not, if you put out more towels, they'll use every single friggin' towel, which takes more time to clean. So those are the things we talked about, and we are always tweaking it if we get any feedback. But that is absolutely the most important thing, and be selective and wait till you can find the right person. Technology in the home. I actually just upgraded to a big TV. I had a tiny TV. Upgraded in a big TV based on some customer feedback. I do have a Ring camera. I didn't have that originally and installed it because I had a few people that brought more people than they were supposed to. I fortunately had a neighbor that told me that a lot of people were coming into my house and there were balloons, and this was in the heat of COVID. So first of all, we have a no party policy at our house, but especially during COVID, it wasn't what we wanted. So I called them that evening, said, hey, a neighbor said it looks like there's going to be a party, you know, there are no parties allowed. I ended up charging them for 2 additional adults. But what that made me do is install a ring system. I don't snoop on them except when they check in. So if they check in, I'll check the camera that evening to see how many cars, how many people have actually come into the house. I then generally, after they've come into the house, send a text message saying, hey, you know, hope you has found everything satisfactory. Let me know if you need anything. So they kind of know that I know they're there. Just keeps things, I think, cleaner. And actually back to the people that I charged more and knew that they were coming, I think just giving them a heads up that I knew they were there, it was probably one of the cleanest visits we ever had. So you never know what's going to happen. I just want people to know that somebody's looking out for the house. The other thing I would recommend is a wireless lock. They make locks where you can actually change the code wirelessly. So from your place in Chicago, every time somebody checks in and checks out, that'll keep the house safer as well. Another primary goal in marketing is to get 5-star reviews. 5-star reviews, the amount of 5-star reviews you have in a certain period of time leads to superhost status, which we are. I'll send the link below. And it gets you higher on the page and ultimately more bookings. From a review perspective, anybody that does reviews knows this. The second you get a review, respond to them too. Just helps the algorithm the more active you are in the review platform. So continue your reviews. Now, the other thing I talked about, as soon as they check in, I send them an email saying, hey, you know, let me know if you need anything. Right before they check out, I send them an email or a text message as well saying, hey, just to remind you, checkout is at 11. How was everything? Blah, blah, blah. That helps to get better reviews too, just being there for them. Okay, we've talked about reviews. Now let's talk about marketing your listing. Take beautiful photos of every single room. I'm in real estate, I know how to take photos, I can hire someone to take photos, but that is so important. Stage them, prop them, clean it, make it look so perfect. Showcase features like the king beds, the back porch, if you have a hot tub, if you have sand toys, whatever you have. In fact, on the hot tub story, I actually had a photo of a soaking tub that was left behind by the previous owners. It doesn't work. And I didn't have that in the listing, but one of my photos had it in there. So I actually disappointed a couple customers because they thought there was a hot tub because they didn't read the description, they just saw the photos. So be careful about that. And if you get any kind of feedback, change things. That photo is now gone, by the way. Investing in the home. Okay, now what is my next investment? A hot tub incident leads me to the topic of investing. I've already had to replace a shower due to a leak, so I upgraded it. I will always ask the question, what will make me more money? I really want to build a front porch on this place because I think it'll add to the curb appeal, but that's not going to make me more money. But a hot tub will. I think I can pay for a hot tub with 3 visits. And as winter comes, if you don't have one of those, it's hard to rent your place. So that's next on the list. Let's talk about finances next. Last year was unusual, I think. And I wasn't able to use the home at all. It was so busy, which is wonderful. But one of the lessons I learned is if you want to use the home, definitely book it out. So not, oh, I'll wait and see. If you really, really want it, book it out. I actually donate it to a few charities too, so I book that out well in advance as well. Determine what your break even is. I talked to this previously, and what your average price would be. And maybe sacrifice 4th of July if it makes you a ton of money, and maybe use it off season. I'm here now in November and I'll use it a lot in the next couple months, and I will not use it in the month of July at all, as much as that kills me. Maybe once it's paid off, then I can use it full time. So Airbnb also gives a yearly summary of everything you've made, but keep track of every dollar you spend too. I did a separate account and a separate debit card, so whenever I'm buying anything for the Airbnb, I put it on that card. And that's about it. Don't forget to file your taxes. You'll get a nice readout from Airbnb or any of the others. They keep track of all the people that came. You'll keep track, and Airbnb will do that, of all the taxes you've paid. You'll keep track of all your expenses, and of course you'll file that on your taxes. So wow, are you ready? I could have talked about this all day, but if you need help or if you want to throw any questions by me, feel free to call. Good luck in your adventures and good luck in your Airbnb. And if you need a real estate agent, whether it's in Michigan, whether it's in Wisconsin, whether it's in Florida, wherever you want to buy your Airbnb, I have a ton of excellent real estate agents in those areas. So give me a call and I will hook you up with the proper person. Thanks. Hi, it's Lisa again from the Blume Group. Don't forget to like the video, and if you'd like what you've seen, subscribe to the channel for more information on Chicago's top neighborhoods and tips and tricks in the real estate market.